Thank you, Ben, and good morning, everyone. In March 1980, some 29 years ago, on this very stage in New Orleans, an 18-year-old young man from Georgia nervously walked up to this podium and began his remarks with the phrase, "Today's youth, tomorrow's leaders." That was then college freshman Bill Verner, serving as NRECA's 1979-1980 Youth Consulting Board President. Today, I'm honored to serve as Vice President of Government Relations and Communications for the Georgia Statewide. It is a rare privilege to stand before you today to say thanks again to all of you for having the vision and commitment for this premier youth program, and to introduce a fellow Georgian who serves as spokesperson for NRECA's Youth Leadership Council. You know, my sister was in Georgia's first youth tour, in fact, the first NRECA youth tour in 1965, an experience she says has a profound impact on her to this day. In fact, she told me so out on our farm this past weekend. From her trip with President Lyndon Johnson to President Carter during my youth tour of 1979 and on to this group of outstanding young people before you today, your investment is truly priceless. The Washington Youth Tour, now in its 45th year, is without a peer. There simply is no other privately sponsored leadership investment in our youth anywhere else in the country. As the Youth Tour nears its golden anniversary, you are to be commended for sustaining this program, which is proving especially valuable today. You know, in this past presidential election, more young people voted than in any election in history. So engaging the enthusiasm and spirit of today's Facebook generation is more important than ever. This Youth Leadership Council puts electric co-ops ahead of the curve to do just that. Amanda Bennett from the great state of Georgia is the spokesperson for the YLC. She is sponsored by Satilla Rural Electric Membership Corporation in the southeastern region of our state. Amanda is active in her church, her school, and her community, and her peers on the YLC call her a genuinely good, well-rounded person, even if she doesn't like ice cream. She is the daughter of Tammy and Billy Bennett of Willacoochee, Georgia, enjoys playing the guitar and piano, and is a senior at Coffee County High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in an enthusiastic show of appreciation for tomorrow's leaders, the 2008-2009 NRECA Youth Leadership Council, and Georgia's own Amanda Bennett.
Life is an ever-changing ocean, full of wonder, possibilities, and danger. On the bright sunny days, the weather is perfect for sailing in the calm waters. However, when the storm comes, dangerous waves and currents can knock you off track. As a teenager living in this modern society, I am constantly witnessing these storms in the media, politics, families, and even friendships. Our future is being shaped by the decisions of those who surround us. On the Washington Youth Tour, I realized the importance of my freedom, my voice, and my personality. After hearing an inspirational speech encouraging us to stand out, I stopped taking for granted the significance of my freedom and learned to speak from my heart. Arlington National Cemetery had the biggest impact on me. It was at Arlington that I had the honor of giving my speech, and also of finding out that I would be representing Georgia on the Youth Leadership Council. While standing in the amphitheater, I was humbled. As we walked around the hallowed ground, I learned that there were up to 30 funerals a day in the cemetery. There were already over 300,000 buried there. At that precise moment, it hit me. All of these people had laid down their lives for the freedom that people in other countries long for, and for the freedom that we as Americans so often take for granted. While on the Washington Youth Tour, I made many friendships that will truly last a lifetime. After arriving in Atlanta for the kickoff banquet, I was so scared. Suddenly, there were over 100 new names, faces, and personalities to learn. I honestly thought I would meet a few people and stick with a small group. However, those plans quickly changed. Keely, my roommate, was like my long-lost sister. Andrew and Tim were our bodyguards for the week. They even shopped with us and gave us fashion advice. Mr. and Mrs. Rowland, our chaperones, looked after us and showed us great compassion. By the end of the week, I had met everyone from Georgia, as well as many people from other states. I am so thankful for the opportunity to participate in such a life-changing event. Just going through the process to be chosen to go to Washington has made me a better person, and hopefully a more effective leader. It all started with my history teacher and counselor nominating me. Then, Ms. Sue Johnson, the Washington Youth Tour Coordinator at Satilla REMC, made me feel right at home. The interview questions were tough, but they made me think about what was most important in my life. After arriving in Atlanta, I met Mrs. Gail Cutler and Mrs. Jane Balk, the Youth Tour Coordinators at the Georgia EMC. One word comes to mind when I think of these two women: amazing. Many hours and lots of money went into making sure that we had the best possible experience in Washington. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank Satilla REMC, the Georgia EMC, Glenn English, and the NRECA for a life-changing experience and opportunity. History jumped off the pages for me thanks to the youth tour. I now have a better understanding and appreciation for my electric cooperative and appreciation for our democracy. I discovered how certain people saw needs and paved a way to a better country. Franklin D. Roosevelt, for example, created the Rural Electrification Administration in 1935 when he saw a need for electricity in rural America. This idea goes hand in hand with today's Electric Consumer Bill of Rights, which states that consumers have the right to have access to affordable, reliable, and safe electric power. A character portrayal of former Senator George W. Norris at Youth Tour reminded me that this effort is still very much alive today. The thousands of people in this room today are a powerful testament that the mission of the electric cooperative is still strong, just as strong as it was in the 1930s. We learned about the Our Energy, Our Future campaign. It urges electric co-op members to have open discussions with their elected officials about keeping electricity plentiful and affordable. Talking with my congressmen and senators about these issues while in Washington showed me that our democracy is only strong when we all make our voices heard. The youth tour provided me with another humbling moment. I witnessed co-op leaders in the local, state, and national levels who sacrificed so those who follow them shall have a better quality of life. Cooperative leaders are engaged in this grassroots effort so that the next wave of young leaders will have a strong energy future. I can assure you that the members of the Youth Leadership Council on stage with me today stand shoulder to shoulder with you in this endeavor. Because of your leadership and sacrifice, all of us before you were positively affected by this opportunity and will be stronger citizens and greater activists for our communities. For that, we are forever grateful. Right now, our nation is experiencing a riptide. The current is trying to pull us under. You have encouraged me to swim out to the deep water, where I'm prepared to put forth all of my energy to ensure a better future. Life is truly like the ocean. There are high and low tides, sunny and stormy days. But no matter where life leads me, I will always stand strong on the beliefs and ideas that the Electric Membership Corporation has brought to life in me. Thank you.